Hello and welcome everyone. In this devlog, I'm going to show you the game that I made for a game jam, Wowie Game Jam 3.0 by Jonas Tyroler. And this is the progress that went in the game, and you can also play the game after watching this. So in starting, I started by making assets in Blender, and you can see the scene. This was the basic inspiration behind the game that I developed. So you can see I started by making the basic models of the ship, and as you can guess it, the basic idea was to make a space shooter. But the theme of the jam was failure is progress. So my idea was to reverse the rule of the space shooter game, which you will see in the next part of this video. But here in starting, I'm making the ship models. So I've duplicated and made several models of same kind. So in the next part, what I decided was to make a scene basically, which will act as a basic inspiration for the overall game, and also will be the main menu screen for the game. And you can see I designed a planet, some mountains and rocky plains you can see here, and I also colored it. So this planet will spin and the ship will be, I have imported the ship here, and in the scene you can see the ship is orbiting around it, and I will add a few more elements and you can see the progress of how I did this scene. So the next part was to add some lights in the scene. So it's basically from a space perspective, so everything is dark. So here will be a moon orbiting the planet, but I will not make it orbit, it will be rotating, and you can see the sun or the star of the planet nearby. So the ship will hover in this part and the planet will rotate constantly. And also I'm adding stars to the scene by adding a basic node with a color ramp and modifying and flipping the colors, so it looks like a genuine space scene. So I think the scene is more or less ready, but a few modifications are required. I am animating the rotation of the ship, the planet, and also the ship will wobble up and down, so it looks like it's in motion. So I think it's animated. This is also animated. A little bit more modification I think is required on this moon, so it's visible that it's also rotating constantly. Also camera is set up and the scene is ready. So you can see here the scene looks pretty good, and this has raised the standard for my game as well. So I will start making the project in Unity after this, and I will render out this scene. So here in Unity, basic idea is I will start with block, and in this block I will add a basic script so it will move up and down, and it works. So we need some constraints at the top side and the bottom side, and also in front and back. So I've added some conditionals, so this box will not go out of certain segment of the screen. You can see top is logged, bottom is also logged, so is front and also the back side. So the next is I've added, you can see a little bit of background and other stuff. You can find this background in Unity's asset store. But I thought I'll make my own, background elements like mountains and other stuff. So again, I opened up Blender and started making some mountains, sculpting some, and added some colors. I think it looks good. I will stretch it vertically a little bit more in Unity, and this is how it looks inside Unity. So basically what I'm doing is the ship in this game, the ship itself is not moving, but the scene is moving from right side to the left side, as you can see. So again I'm adding my models which I made in Blender, as you saw earlier. So there are 4 ships in total, but I will use only one for player and one will be used for the enemies, but in this game there are no enemies as I've decided for now. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just adding the model and adjusting it a little bit. So the idea is, you can see I've replaced the block with the ship and it looks good. I think it looks pretty good, but the directions are not proper. I think in Blender when I exported it, the directions were messed up. I just added a little bit vector subtraction and it's working now. So the locks, all 4 directions are working. So what I was telling is the scene itself is moving from right to left. The ship is actually static, but it makes you feel like the ship is also moving forward with the scene. So this is your basic control, and this will be the computer controlled ship which will come from the backside. These bots, I will call them enemies for now. So the enemy script is basically also I'm adding UI on the same time. So why I'm doing this so quickly and showing it in the video in this mixed format is because this was a game jam. I was supposed to do all this in 3 days. You can see here particle effects are being added. So when the ship is destroyed, it explodes. So when I was at this point, I had only 8 hours left in the game jam and I was rushing like crazy. So yeah, here you can see my objective was to make a bullet. And as I told you that only 8 hours are left. So I'm quickly adding more particle effects and more effects. So this bullet is shot like this and it will interact. In the meanwhile, I also designed the main menu and this is how it looked. Basic rules are added. There are 2 stages, one is logged, and by the time I reached this point, only 5 hours left. So you can see what I was doing is I added some other effects and the bullets are like not going in the proper direction and it's not interacting with the other enemies. So only 2 hours left. I had to rush various things in the game, but it worked on the game. Now the ships are exploding, you can see, as the bullet is fired, but the player itself is going crazy. If I shoot it or stop shooting, it's not working at all. I think my game broke down at several points, but the basic problem was this, I think. The rigid body and it was not properly calibrated. So the basic are 2 endings in this game. There is a hero ending and there is a rogue ending. So if you destroy all the other ships, you end up being a rogue. And if you try to, destroy your ship by saving others, you become a hero. So you can see both paths here, hero path and rogue path. Because rules of this game jam are opposite, failure is progress, so I changed it. So I'm quickly doing a playtest for this game. Here the rules are, as I told you, different. The spacebar key restrains the fire rather than firing the bullets. So quickly, since less time is left, I started building the WebGL build for the project because I had to upload it on HIO. At this point, I could relax a bit. As the submission was done, I started the final playtest and it worked in the browser. So it was overall a very good game jam. I was very happy that I could reach the deadline. It was just before 10 minutes. I did the submission and the game was working perfectly. And you can see the score is going down and I can control the bullets. So you can also play this game. Go to the link below, try the other games. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.